Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, here with a preview of work to come this following week. And boy, do I have some interesting ones now. And we're going to open up some that I don't know what it is, but some of them that I'm working on have had some peculiar issues, and we'll see if we can't solve them for the customers over time. The first one is a shout out to Marty. Thank you very much, Marty, for sending in this reel. Many of you know that I did an earlier version of the Swiss-made record reel, and I mentioned in there that there was a company called Thomann Record or Record. I wasn't quite sure which one it was, but that offered a version of the Swiss-made one that was sold in the United States. So Marty said he had an extra one. I could work on this one, and it's working fine. There's a couple of differences. You got a full bail. You got a little bit of a difference in the spool, and the body's a little bit different. But for the most part, the paint schemes and the other things seem to hold up pretty nicely. So I'm going to take this one apart. That'll be an exploratory reel. I'll make sure that we put that out there. And if you have either one of the records, you can reference those in my library. The second one is actually a very interesting one. I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but we'll see if we can make a video on this. So this one's Mike's reel. He sent it in and he said that had a slip in it, and that the level wind guide was sticking to the one side. Well, I fixed that. We replaced the drags, and then we took it home. He took it home, got it back, and he said, well, it's still not working properly. If you take the line and you put it under load, tie it to a fence is what I did, and you start cranking, everything will retrieve fine, and then all of a sudden you'll get to a point where you'll get a noticeable skip, a jerk. And it seems like it may be in the gears or that, but we're going to try and do a diagnosis on that. We'll see if I can help you out if you've ever experienced something like that. The other thing that's very interesting with this reel, it's a lesson to be learned. I don't know if we can teach it here, but pay attention when you're putting line on a level wind reel. You need to line up. When you go to line your reel, put your line guide in the center, run your line through there, and tie the knot in the center. If you're any other way, you're going to have cross winding going on, which is what's happening in this reel. So what likely happened here when the line went on was the line guide was over here, the knot got tied over on this side, and what happens is that line is always fighting the line guide. So if you want to cast for distance, and if you want this to operate properly and the smoothest it can, when you go to line your reel, line guide goes to the middle, and line gets tied right to the center of the spool. Any other way, and you're going to have a line guide on this side with the line over here on the spool, and it'll always be fighting each other in terms of how to get the line back to normal. This one came in, I think I previewed it. It's kind of got the weirdest thing going on with this, and we found broken parts inside. But what happens is you got an excessive play in the spool. At one point, before I was able to replace one of the parts, this spool just spun independent of the lining. So we replaced a piece in here, and there's another broken piece to be replaced in the rear drag system. That's why the spool, even though it's completely tightened down with the drag nut, has got the excessive play in it. So this is a Penn Liveliner 8000 Fierce 2. And interestingly enough, if I set it like this and I turn it, you'll watch the spool. You'll see that the spool turned as we did that. So that shouldn't happen. We're going to go replace the two pieces that are broken in that, and I'll take it apart and I'll show you the line guide features associated with that reel. Next up then, Sean just dropped these off the other day in the shop, and it's a whole bag of goodies, and we'll see what we can do here. So we have a couple of the old Penn spin fishers. This one is the 650 SS. I've done videos on most of these, but just to let you know what we're doing here. Here's an older one, I believe it's the 710. And this just goes with spring fishing's coming up. Let's get these old workhorses back together again. Here's a second 650. There's one of those, yeah, this one. He was telling me on this one, do we have the bump guard? Well, I'm not sure if that bump guard is available any longer. Most of the folks that use these reels, or a lot of the folks, well, this one you can see it's got just a horrible bend to the bail here. But a lot of the people that fish these don't even rely on this sling slamming into the bail to trip it. Most of them use a manual trip. If we don't have the ability to get a replacement part for that, we'll show you how to take either a plastic tube or heat shrink and put it over that to give you some kind of a balance in that little stud. Here's another 710 that's coming across here. A Penn Delmar. This one's got a broken side plate that looks like it's been glued together. I'm sure that the side plates are no longer available, but we'll see what we can do there to at least tune that up. And finally, Sean left me a Jig Master. My least favorite of the Jig Masters, the 500S. The reason why it's my least favorite is it's got the take-apart screw on the opposite side, so it only relies on 4 screws to hold this thing together. It's a weaker frame. It's subject to frame twist, and I've seen a lot of examples of just that happening with these reels. So we got a whole bunch of Penns. People ask me if I just work on Penns because a lot of my videos are Penn reels. Well, I work on whatever comes in the shop, and if somebody like Sean brings me in a whole bag of Penns, well, then I'm working on Penns. I like to show my work on the website so that my customers can see what is done to their reel. And if they're Penns, well, then the viewers also get a chance to see an awful lot of Penns. Okay, this one's coming in from Peter. I've got 4 Baitcast reels that are legacies. All right, let's see what we got. We have a Quantum. I think this is the iron. Yeah, this is a Quantum iron. I haven't done one of these. I've done a version of one of those, but I haven't done one of those. So we'll go ahead and do that. One of the very early Abu reels. This one's the 6000. I have one here that's just been laying around. This one is also the 6000. They look like they're just a little bit of a generation apart, maybe in terms of the writing on the side. This one's probably the earlier one, but I will be working on that. I've done a lot of ambassador videos. Recently I just did the 7000 and posted it. Not sure if we're going to do another one, but possibly. Here's another. This is the 5000 version of that. So again, legacy reels, as you mentioned. And here's a very interesting one. It's coming in a plastic case and all. Let's see what we have here. We have an Ocean City 1600. I know I haven't done this one. I've done an awful lot of these lately. It seems like when I do these and I post these on my site, people who have these ask me if I could do theirs too. I'm pretty sure that's probably what Peter has done here, and I'll be happy to do a video on that Ocean City 1600 in the upcoming week or so. So we have a couple of old ambassadors. We have a Quantum iron, and we have an Ocean City 1600 that Peter sent in. We'll make sure that they all get the attention that they deserve. We have another one. I think this is also going to be one that's a legacy reel. This one. I can get it open. I think this is a Baitcast. This might be a Shakespeare. I had a conversation on a Shakespeare. Yeah, that's what it looks like. This is a nice reel. It's a Shakespeare Markov. Markov was an independent reel manufacturer. Then they combined their resources with Shakespeare. This is a GE. Let's go to our secret decoding. So on the Shakespeare, the G is 1940. The E is 6. So this is right after World War II. In 1946, this reel was made. And we're going to go ahead and tune this one up and give it the love it deserves. It's been around a long time, and it seems like it's still working. We'll make sure it works perfectly for the upcoming season. And then Jared has sent me a whole pile of this, big box. Not quite sure what's in it, so let's, it won't even fit on my workbench here. So let's just get going on this. See what we got. Okay, so yes, Jared saw that I was working on these 310s, 320s, 330s, and here's one. Here's two. Here's three, a 310. Here's four. Yep. So four. I think there might be six, if I remember talking to him. There's five. Yep, here's six. Okay. So if you're wondering what I'm doing with my spare time, I did 30 Jig Masters at one point, and now we've got a whole pile. We got 6 of these Penn 310s coming in, or at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 310s and what looks like a 320. All right, so that is it. I think we covered most of these that have been in recently. Please stay tuned. If you see something here that you're interested in and you would like me to do the reel, then by all means, please shoot a note if I don't plan to do them. It looks like an exciting group of reels to work on. I'm anxious to get started. Again, thank you to Marty for sending in that Thoman record. And we're certainly going to be doing that one in addition to the reels that you've seen here. And they'll be posted in the upcoming week or so. So please stay safe. Thank you to our first responders for all that you do in keeping us safe. For the rest of us, let's do our job. Make sure we mask up, maintain our social distancing, wash our hands. We know the drill by now. It's been a year. But let's all try and do our part, and let's get through this so that we can be fishing in the springtime and taking care of ourselves and our health as well. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.